This is the story about a wicked queen and a magic mirror, and a young, beautiful princess with hair as black as ivory and skin as white as snow. Yes, it is of course the story of Snow White. Starring Betty Boop.
Made of pen and ink.
You really had them going for a ride, didn't you? Well, I'm Hammy.
And I'm Benedict, and this is Old School Cartoons. Before I start though, I must apologise to everyone who thought I was reviewing the Disney version. Don't worry, you'll get that review in about 8 years. For now, let's take a look at this version, shall we?
Okay, released in 1933, Snow White, better known as Betty Boop in Snow White, was the second of 3 Betty Boop cartoons featuring jazz band leader Cab Calloway, and many people point to this as an example of how the Flashes were different to Disney, for reasons that are really fucking obvious.
Also, the animation was done entirely by one man, Roland Crandall. So, is this cartoon going to be the fairest of them all? Or is this going to be rotten as a poison apple? Let's open this glass box and let's find out.
The film starts, naturally, with a vain queen, powdering her nose and looking in her magic mirror.
Magic mirror in my hand, who's the fairest in the land?
You're the fairest in the land. You're the fairest in the land.
We'll see about that, Queenie.
Also, I wouldn't have given the mirror those lips, but...
Then Betty comes, not wearing nearly enough clothes for this weather.
I want to see my stepmama, stepmama, stepmama. I want to see my stepmama.
A stepmama, the queen.
That's animation for you. You can do stuff like this.
Then she heads in, with Bimbo the dog and Coco the clone escorting her. Also worth noting, Coco the clone was the Flashes' first character, dating back to 1918. Betty mentions the Queen's mirror.
I've heard about your looking glass.
What it says is so.
So the Queen works the magic.
Magic mirror in my hand, who's the fairest in the land?
You're the fairest in the land. You're the fairest in the land.
Of course the Queen doesn't take this kindly.
Off with her head.
So Bimbo and Coco take Betty away, and they grind their axes, as she starts singing again.
Always in the way. I can never.
That's Betty for you, she's always got a jazz standard in her somewhere. But they throw the grinding stone away,
Don't leave me here alone. I don't want to breathe.
and they end up falling down the hole.
I guess you could say they're out cold.
Then the tree Betty's tied to lets her free, and leaves her garter on the ground. They'll never know. But she trips and rolls into a snowball. Well, that's one way of forming a glass coffin. She slides into, of course, the house of the 7 dwarves, who carry her away.
This is one odd funeral.
You think this is odd? You ain't seen nothing yet. Meanwhile, the Queen sees Betty's garter.
Am I the fairest in the place?
If I were you, I'd hide my face.
Shade! Well, she transforms herself, that's one way of doing it, and heads down as Coco starts singing.
Folks, I'm going down to St. James Infirmary.
And it's here where things get weird. As the dwarves take Betty and Bimbo away, the Queen comes and transforms Coco into a ghost.
Put a $20 gold piece on my watch chain so you
Honestly, it's amazing what animation can do,
and give me 6 rap shooting pallbearers.
though I don't think that particular detail was necessary.
As the Queen turns back to normal, she turns everyone to ice.
Magic mirror in my hand now. Who's the fairest in the land?
You're the fairest in the land.
And she's turned into a monster. So that's the moral of our wee tale, bairns. Don't be vain or that happens. Betty, Bimbo and Coco are turned back to normal and are chased by the Queen Beast.
Well, this is quite an interesting level of Cuphead, that's for sure.
But Bimbo grabs a tug and whoa, Jesus!
I think I'm gonna be sick.
Well, everyone celebrates her defeat, and the cartoon ends.
So that was Betty Boop and Snow White. How was it, Hammy?
Oh, was it? This was just what the doctor ordered and then some. The animation is top-notch, usual for the Fleischer Brothers, and while it is a fairly loose adaptation, it is still a great adaptation of the classic fairy tale. Plus, it gets so strange and honestly creepy at times that it's almost impossible to forget. Yep, you're right there, Hammy. Unsurprisingly, this cartoon will be getting a score of 11 points. That I think sums up this cartoon. Not quite as good as the Disney version, but definitely far better than any live-action remake.
Especially live-action remakes by certain right-wing misinformation factories, but that's a story for another day.
Ah, you're right for once. Well, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, whatever, and try not to eat any poison apples.
So until next time, I'm Benedict.
And I'm Hammy.
And we'll see you on the next Old School Cartoons. See you later!